So reflecting on our transfer window this summer, so far as we know, the outgoings, of course, Trossard went to Besiktas. See, Trossard, for me, one of my favourite players over the last years. Very important player. Who popped up in the big moments. See, so he'll be sadly missed. He's gone to Besiktas. We wish him well. And obviously, Norgard, wasn't getting much game time, but he was a good squad player. Came in at times and saved us. When players needed a rest. Again, he'll be a big loss with his Premier League experience, but we wish him well at Everton. And the current incomings, as it stands, obviously Chollis, from Club Brugge. We didn't really know too much about him. Left winger, stats, out of this world on, GA, goals and assists, in the top 10 within the whole of Europe. Not really known, but stats, he's played at a good level. He's been in the Premier League before with Norwich many years ago, so he has had a taste of English football. So yeah, hoping he'll be a great signing. We've seen him in pre-season. He's probably looked like one of our best players in pre-season. Those 2 assists the other day against Man City, out of this world. We got Melia on a free. I think that's a smart signing. I didn't see that one coming. Great signing. I've always liked Melia when he was at Leeds as well. Good French keeper. Free transfer. When Raya needs a rest in the cup games, I think we can throw him in. So we're not sure about the future of Kepa yet. But yeah, Melia, really happy with that signing. Bruno Guimaraes, what a signing, 75 million, for a player of that experience who's done it, consistently in Newcastle. Remember, Man City wanted him years back, but then obviously they didn't get him and he went to Newcastle. He's done really well at Newcastle. I think City tried to get him last season or the season before that, they missed out, but we've gone in and got him. What a signing, probably one of the best 8s in the Prem, bar maybe Declan Rice. You could say, on Elliot Anderson. So what a player we've got. He can take set pieces. He can score from set pieces. He's got it all. He's the full package, ready-made, Premier League proven, into Brazilian international. You don't start in the Brazil midfield if you're not, top elite. So, him and Rice, they were once enemies, now they're best friends. So yeah, hopefully looking forward to seeing that partnership in midfield. And yeah, that's the incoming so far. Of course, possible outgoings that, we might see a few players leaving in the next few weeks. Jesus might be on his way out to Napoli. They're saying Nelson might get a loan to West Ham or another Premier League club. Vieira will probably go, whether it be a loan or a permanent. I think he might, go. Kepa, I feel he may go as well. Let's see. We might want 3 keepers, but if we're just going to go with Raya and Melia, maybe Kepa can go, but let's see. Talk of Martinelli leaving. Let's see. A few teams interested in him. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It's like 50-50 as it stands. And Ranieri, there's talk of him going out on loan. Obviously, I don't want him to go. I think he's going to be a crucial player to come off the bench when Odegaard and Eze get tired. I think that's a good player to keep. But for his own development, I'll understand if he goes on loan to maybe a Premier League side or maybe a team in playing Champions League football so he can get more experience like he did at Marseille. So yeah, that's possible outgoings, possible incomings. Obviously, Konsa, we got the Here We Go yesterday or today from Fabrizio. So obviously, hopefully, maybe he won't be ready for the Coventry game, but maybe the following game against Villa, against his old team, that might be his debut. I think we need Konsa. Saliba's out. We don't know how long for. We need Konsa. Premier League proven. He's done it at Brentford in the Prem. He's done it at Aston Villa in the Premier League as well for a number of seasons now. He can play centre back, he can play right centre back, left centre back, but he can also play right back, which is key. With Timber's fitness, we're not sure. See, White's done a good job in pre-season, but I just think it's great to have that squad depth. And he's an elite player. I was looking at his statistics. I think he's in the top percentile of Jules one. I think even higher than Gabriel Saliba. So Jules on the ground, solid, good in the air, can score from set pieces. I think he's going to be an absolutely marquee signing. One that we didn't expect, but I think one that's going to be key and crucial in our defence of our title. I also feel we've been looking at a left winger all summer. Obviously, there was talk of Vinny Jr. Of course, he's my favourite left winger. Obviously, he's signed a new deal at Real Madrid. Obviously, heartbroken that didn't happen. However, there are other alternatives. Obviously, Nico Williams, we've spoken about him over the last few seasons. Not sure if that's going to happen. I think he's happy in Spain where he is. A few other possible names we've been linked with recently. There's talk of Yildiz. Again, he's Juventus' star boy. Are they going to let him go? I'm not sure. You're going to have to fork out a lot of money. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Also, you're hearing the likes of you know, players like Nusa been linked, you know, Barcola, but they're saying Barcola's going to leave PSG, but they think Liverpool's going to get him. But he wants, apparently he wants to move to London, but Arsenal haven't put a bid in yet. So would we do maybe a late sweep on that one, and you know, still a key player over our rivals? Maybe. Let's see. I really like Barcola, but will he come? That's another question. I do like Nusa. I thought he had a good World Cup for Norway. He's good friends with Odegaard. Could maybe Agent Odegaard speak to him? Perhaps. I really rate Nusa. I think he'd be a good signing. Alternatively, I can only think of a few Premier League proven left wingers that can maybe come. Mitoma, I've liked him for a few seasons. Would like to see him, but is that going to happen? Not sure. And Ndiaye for Everton. He was meant to go, I think, to Saudi. That deal didn't happen. He's back with Everton now. Could we maybe swoop in for him? You know, these are all players that, you know, left wing options that I think could potentially come. Whether they do, that's another question. But I do feel we might get one more signing after Konza. Also, last few rumours I've heard about Gyökeres maybe going to Barcelona. Not too sure about that. I think he's only just come to Arsenal. He's, you know, was our top goal scorer last season. You know, some people like him, some people, you know, have question marks over him. I thought he did quite well, considering it's his first season. I'd like to see him stay for one more season at least. But let's see. But if he does go, because obviously Barcelona have lost Lewandowski, they need a striker. Alvarez is not going to be allowed to go there. So Barcelona are looking at Gyökeres, they're looking at Martinez. You know, let's see. But if we do let Gyökeres go, obviously Jesus might be going to Napoli. It means we're definitely going to need a striker. Again, who are we going to get? There's a few links to Alvarez. He's been one of the key players linked. Whether that will happen, I'm not sure. Victor Osimhen, you know, that's been spoken about recently. Again, time will tell. Again, Alvarez or Osimhen, you know, would be good replacements for the likes of Jesus and Gyökeres. But will it happen? Time will tell. I do feel with our attack right now, we've got obviously Saka, we've got Gyökeres, we've got Cholis. That's probably our main three at the moment. Of course, we've got cover, we've got, you know, Madueke, Havertz, and also Martinelli as it stands. But I do feel if one or two of those players do go, we're going to have to replace them with top quality. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the transfer window. Not long left.